Welcome to this week's edition of the Litter Media Game of the Week preview show. It's the Eastern Eagles and the Huntington Huntsmen getting together out in the Huntington Hills. Should be an interesting contest.
Both teams are 1-0 coming into week 2 of the season. Of course, Eastern, off after a history-making season last year, ran the table in the regular season 10-0, won a playoff game before bowing out. Huntington still on that rebuilding track, but believe they have a lot of experience on the offensive line that'll help them out this year.
And they have motivation as well. And part of that was when the head coach's dad, Sam Beeler, had a traffic accident last week. He was injured in an accident, and I asked him in the interview that we'll have here in a moment, I'm sure that was a bit of a motivation for the kids. And he said, absolutely it was. It really was. And he does a hat off to his coaching staff because he had to take off to go to the hospital with his dad, and they took over. And that's when you already realize you've got a cohesive unit and a family there of coaches able to handle those certain things.
Well, something, I guess, right out of the gate before we get into any of the comments, and I think this is being seen area-wide, a later kickoff time Friday night.
Right, 7:30 for this game in particular, Huntington and Eastern, but many others are waiting to 8 o'clock. I believe the way the pine trees and other trees around the football field there at Huntington, it will provide enough shade by 7:30, and I think they feel comfortable with that time.
Plus natural grass. I think a lot of the artificial surface stadiums, you're going to see them waiting until 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Speaking of Sam Beeler, we are connecting with him later in the show, so if you want to hear from Sam, get an update, we'll have that for you. And hopefully he doesn't have nurses coming in and checking on him while we're doing the interview, that sort of thing. So
no probes or anything like that during the live broadcast.
That's our hope anyway. Yeah. Let's take a review of how the season started off for teams around the area. And we want to start with the FAC for you. The one thing that stood out to me here was it was a difficult start for the FAC teams. They went 1-5 on that first week. But look at that Hillsborough score. They were leading this contest. Western Brown, who we weren't sure what to expect out of Western Brown, they put 42 points on the board and picked up the win over Hillsborough. But Hillsborough looks like their offense is working.
Yeah, putting a lot of points on the board. They've been a playoff team here in recent years, which Western Brown has too, but they lost that great quarterback, I think, that they had in recent years.
And the Waverly-Miami Trace game stands out to me as well. Miami Trace, who we're expecting a lot out of this year, Waverly got what they needed for the victory with a late touchdown there as well. And Jackson, man, they're just going to be tough again this year.
Yeah. And that London team, who's not in the FAC, but they play Chillicothe this week.
Yes. And as for Jackson, we'll find out how tough they are this week because they play Ironton.
Yeah.
On to the Mid-State League, and 4 teams that capture your attention right out of the bat. Bloom Carroll, of course, was a defending champion along with Logan Elm and Hamilton Township. They all shared the championship last year, but throw Circleville into this mix as they picked up that 32-27 win over Warren.
A new quarterback at Circleville, but a familiar face to us, who's been a pretty good basketball player at Tays Valley the last few years. He's the new man at Circleville, and so it'll be interesting to see how the MSL Buckeye shakes out this year.
And Logan Elm spoiled Zane Trace's start to the season with that 33-27 win last Friday night. On the OCC, and talking about Tays Valley just a moment ago, they're into a new brand of football. And so but their coach is very familiar with all this. And speaking of Brian Cross, who used to be the coach at Grove City, unfortunately he took it on the chin from the Greyhounds, 42-7 there. For a conference, they finished 4-4 in their games. Now Winchester picks up that big win, Groveport Madison, Lancaster, and then the one that stands out to me, though, is Harvest Prep over Pickerington Central, 24-21. And Central is always in the thick of things each and every year, playing into week 14 and 15, it seems. But Harvest Prep has been too. So that was a real Donnybrook there. On to the SOC, Eastern Pike, of course, who we're going to see this Friday night. They took double overtime, but as we heard Scott Tomlinson tell us in his interview, which you'll hear in just a moment, he explained that they had, 4 or 5 touchdowns taken off the board from penalties. So interesting there. Piketon picks up that win over Northwest. Ironton, Wheelersburg, 37-7. Wow. Yikes. And Ironton, I think Ironton on their schedule this year has 4 out-of-state teams they'll be playing. So on to the SVC, which went 7-1 last weekend. As we mentioned, Huntington is off to that 1-0 start. But Payne Valley picks up a win. Piketon got that win. Southeastern really had a powerful game. Was it 46-6, the final there? 46-8 over East. Scioto comes out of the blocks, hitting on all cylinders, it seems. Benton County, of course, they have a new scheme there with the new coach and everything as well. Westfall picking up that win over Madison Plains, and Adena getting things started with a win over McLean. And on to the TVC, the game that stands out to me first, Waterford looks to be just as powerful as Waterford has been.
We saw them, of course, in that Eastern playoff win over them last year in a pretty tight game. But they're, as you said, they're tough every year.
Athens taking Philo. Meigs picks up a win. Nelsonville, York. River Valley fell to Reedsville Eastern. And Wellston over Oak Hill, with Scioto beating Benton County. And as a conference, they started off at 4-3. So that's how things happened last week. Coming up in a moment, we prepare for this Friday night's game. Of course, you can see the scrolling games that are above us for this week's week number 2 of the season. Huntington and Eastern, they meet in the Huntington Hills. There's a lot of H's in there. We will hear from Coach Clay Beeler when we return with the Letter Media Game of the Week preview show.
Our financial lives have never been more complex, and some decisions just can't wait, which is why our K&B Mobility app gives you instant access to the financial tools you need wherever you are. Get a clear picture of all of your accounts, check your daily transactions, receive account alerts, and much more. So no matter where you are or what you are doing, you can make the best decisions for you and your financial goals. Download our Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Mark came to the Adena Orthopedic and Spine Institute in severe arm pain from a degenerative disc. Minimally invasive spinal surgery got him back to what matters most. At Adena, we do what we love, so you can too.
Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, serving Central and Southern Ohio for more than 4 decades. Give them a call for your needs at Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. And a legacy business as well, Litter Quality Propane, 92 years of serving propane users in Southern and Central Ohio. Reliable supply, reliable service, reliable people. Litter Quality Propane.
Welcome back to the Letter Media Game of the Week preview show. I'm Dan Ramey, and he is the head coach of the Huntington Huntsmen. He is Clay Beeler. And Clay, today is Team Photo Day.
Yes.
And the reason it's Team Photo Day is because your dad had an accident last week.
Yep.
And so that kind of threw everybody's schedule off. But he's going to be okay. That's great news, and your brother Logan's doing well too.
Yep, everybody's doing well. Dad's probably going to go to step-down unit soon, and he's in good spirits, but he's got a long road to recover.
That had to serve as a motivation for these kids last Friday night.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I had to go straight up to Grant, see my dad, and the kids and coaches took care of every business here. But, the kids, they went and got stickers without me even knowing and put my dad's initials on their helmets, and, they won that for Dad, which meant a lot to me. But, the love and support from our community, not only in the township, but Chillicothe, is just overwhelming.
There's a handful of people that are green and white through and through. Your dad is one of them.
Yep, absolutely. He's given a lot of years to Huntington, so he's
absolutely
very dedicated to the community.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that game you had last week. What a great way to start the season off 1-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Our kids, man, they've worked really hard in the off season. Worked very hard all summer. Numbers have been up, and even new kids coming out. So, yeah, it's always important to start 1-0 and get on the right foot. The kids, I think they felt that we were going to be a good team this year, and they showed it on Friday.
Picked up the win over East Clinton, got a chance to ring that victory bell, and that's always good.
Yes. Last year we had to wait week 7 to ring it, so it is nice to ring it right away. So.
Yeah. Tell us about your team.
We are still young, but we have a very good group of kids. I like to think that we're a very tough, very physical team. Frankie Hirsch at quarterback, he's does a really good job for us. He's a sophomore. Isaac Taylor is taking over kind of for DJ Crocker, what he did last year, and I think he had a couple touchdowns on Friday. But we're playing a lot of mainly sophomores and juniors, but they've worked hard in the weight room, and we're a year older and a year stronger and faster.
Who are the seniors that stand out for you?
We got really 3 seniors that are really putting in a lot of work, and that's Gabe Beardsley. He's a really good receiver for us. We got Dakota Johnson, plays linebacker. He's a kind of hybrid wide receiver. And Caden Curtis, who's really the anchor for us up front. So those 3 guys are, as far as leadership and qualities leading the team, those guys are at the forefront and making sure everybody's doing the right thing.
The SBC went 7-1 last week, and that's a pretty good start for the conference as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some tough ball games there too, and I know Zane Trace lost to Logan Elm, but that was a tight ball game, and that's nothing to be ashamed of, because Logan Elm's a tough ball club.
Yeah. Your opponents Friday night, the Eastern Eagles out of Pike County, they had a double overtime victory.
Yes.
And of course, last year was a great year for them. They had extra games to play thanks to the playoffs. So that you've got your work cut out for you this Friday.
Yeah, they got a big quarterback, got a big arm, they got really fast wide receivers. Big offensive line, and a pretty stout defense. So we've scouted them out, put a game plan together, and it's going to be a tough game for us. But I think our kids will step up to the challenge.
What do you think will be the key? Of course, fewer mistakes, hang on to that football. Those things go without being said.
Yeah, they offensively they like to take shots. So I think it's important to eliminate the big play. You watch their film, and it's predicated on big play momentum. So we just need to play good defense, and our offense is moving a lot better, a lot more efficient this year. So I think both ways we got a good game plan, solid game plan. If we can eliminate the big play, we can stay in the game and get a win.
We wish you the best of luck. I know that they've got the kids ready for the team photo. You need to be in that photo, Coach.
Yeah, I got to go.
All right.
Thank you.
Clay Beeler, thank you. Good luck.
Appreciate you.
They're calling for him already.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more of the Litter Media Game of the Week preview show coming up here on Litter Media.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
Was interfering with Tiffany's active lifestyle. Same-day hip replacement at the Adena Orthopedic and Spine Institute got her back to the community she calls home. At Adena, we do what we love, so you can too.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week. And coming up shortly, we will announce this week's Player of the Week. So stick close for that coming up here on Litter Media's Game of the Week preview show.
We're joined by Eastern Eagles head football coach Scott Tomlinson. Of course, they are 1-0, as Huntington is 1-0, coming into our Game of the Week on Friday night. Scott, we had a chance to see you twice last year, a historical season for the Eastern football program, less than a decade old as of last year. 10-0, ran the table in the regular season, a playoff win before falling in the second week. But you open up with a thriller against Miller, 34-33 in double overtime. How much did the returning players' experience of what they had last year play into keeping cool and doing what you had to do?
Honestly, I wish I could say that was true, but we start 7 new guys on the offensive side of the ball. We start 6 new guys on the defensive side of the ball. So we've got a lot of new faces. I will say probably maybe Brewer Tomlinson came up huge in the fourth quarter with some 3rd and 4th down stops. So he's been there and done that before. Brady Moore has been there and done that before. He made some good plays there in the second half. Cade Lice played a great game for us at center and really had a good second half at defensive end. So those 3 returners from last year, Wyatt Richardson ended up, you don't want your corner to lead you in tackles, but you end up leading some tackles, got our defensive player of the game. So I could say those 4. Those 4 really in crunch time stepped up, made plays, showed the new faces. That we've been here, done this before, and pull it out. So I can say those 4. But other than that, we got a lot of new faces that we're still learning as a staff.
You've had that winning experience last year. Huntington, they're kind of in a rebuild, but they had a nice win against East Clinton 28-14 last week. And I know both programs want to be going in that same direction.
Yeah, well, the Bealers are friends of mine, both Clay and Sam. A lot of respect for them. I knew when they, I messaged Clay when they hired him. I said, Huntington just got the right guy, the right hire. He's doing a great job with them. Watching them on film, you can see, they're very disciplined, play hard. They really play hard for him. And, it's a worry. Them and Southeastern both, I feel like are heading, I think Coach Blair's got, Southeastern heading the right direction, not to jump ahead, but, he coached for him before. I'm friends with the Bealers. And, these 2 teams on our schedule. Back in the day, we thought, get these on our schedule. And now when they pop up in chairs, oh, crap, we're in for a dogfight. It's going to be. We know this is, they played us tough the last 2 years. So, a lot of respect for that program, a lot of respect for the direction they are heading. They're doing good things out there in Huntington. So I expect it to be a dogfight come Friday night.
Unless there's been a change from what I see here, you have a new quarterback, Eric Manley, 6'6".
Yeah, he's that's not inflated. He's a legit 6'6", 225. He's not a skinny kid. He gets in the weight room, he lifts. He tries. He wants to put on a little more weight. Very athletic. Honestly, it's only his 3rd year playing football, though. Last year was a backup wide receiver, backup quarterback. So he's learning. We had a great summer of 7-on-7s, and toward his last couple of 7-on-7s, it really started to click for him. He's never read defenses before, that type of stuff, and he's just trying to learn the game as he goes. But then all of a sudden you get to scrimmages and you throw in a live rush. So 7-on-7, all of a sudden looking really good. We were clicking. Now it's kind of starting over. Don't look at that rush. Keep your eyes downfield, that type of stuff. And he started out rough, and we expected, Friday Night Lights, his first time. He was nervous. I think he was squeezing the heck out of football. He started out first 3 quarters pretty rough. We missed. All respect to Miller. The Millers probably gonna have their best year. They should go and win 8 games. But we also left about 4 to 5 touchdowns on the field with wide open receivers that we usually hit, and Eric will make those throws down the road. And it was just in the fourth quarter, though, he settled down. We told him in the fourth quarter he settled in. He made some great throws for us there at the end and in overtime made some big plays, did good with his feet. So he's coming, and we knew, as a staff, we know this. It's like, seven new guys, a new quarterback, new running back, couple of new receivers. It's going to take. We will be as good as we was last year. If we stay healthy, there's no doubt in my mind. Second half of the season, I wouldn't want to play us. Yeah. But if we stub our toe, it'll be here in the beginning as we're going through some growing pains with new quarterbacks and new receivers, 2 new tackles. Like we got some growing pains to go through. All 4 linebackers on defense are new. Our 2 inside and our 2 outside. All 4 linebackers are new. They're learning how to read helmets and learn how to their leverage and everything for the first time on Friday night. So, and let's, Friday night speed is different. Like, I don't care about your scrimmages. You go scrimmage in the morning at 10 a.m. or in the afternoon at 3 o'clock in front of, 40 people. It is not the same speed. You cannot emulate the speed of a Friday night under the lights, big crowd. They have to adjust to that speed. They have to adjust to a lot of stuff there on Fridays. So, and we're going to get there. So I thought we finished strong. I thought Miller played as clean as game as they could play. They did not turn the ball over much. Besides that first interception, they played really clean. They got a really good team. We're probably, I would put them probably in the top 4 to 5 teams in our region. They're not going to lose very many games this year. So for us to start out with that and get that win, it's pretty big, computer point wise, and just for us going down the road.
Scott, with a new starting quarterback, do you have a running game that can take some of the pressure off of him?
We didn't know. We didn't know until about the second half, and when we got to halftime, we're like, hey, this isn't working. Let's take some pressure off of him. Let's lean on the running game, see what we can do. We found, Brady Moore ran hard there in the second half, and we found Jack Montgomery in the second half. A freshman kind of came out and busted through, and we knew Jack's going to be a dude. Like he's going to be that guy down the road. But as a freshman right now, trying to be a starting linebacker, trying to learn the offense, we're trying to bring him along as slowly as we can for his own sake of just learning things as he goes. Benjamin Bauer from Jackson came in, and he's been taking some of the load off the running back. He's looked really good, but again, he's learning a whole new system coming from Jackson. He's learning everything for the first time too. So it's going to take us some time, but I was very happy with our O-line. Dalton did a great job at halftime making some adjustments, coaching the O-line up, and we came out in that second half and we ran the ball a ton that second half, just take the pressure off of Eric, and it was exactly what we needed. So we feel like, now we can. We didn't know. Like, I'll just being quite honest with you, we didn't look good running the ball in the scrimmages. We've been piecing offensive line together. It was our weakness going into the season. It was a big question mark. But then we came out Friday night feeling pretty good, like, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right in the O-line.
The Huntington people, just some preliminary discussions that I've had with them, they feel that some of the most experience that they have is on their offensive line. So what about your defense going up against that?
They're big. They're big. We showed them in the films. They're big. I don't know how many kids wrestle, but Huntington has a wrestling program. And, we ran up against Waterford last year. You could tell who the wrestlers were. It makes a difference. Leverage game and getting low and playing with leverage against these kids who wrestle and know how to use their bodies. I was very impressed with a couple of the Huntington kids, especially the returners. A couple of big defensive tackles they have, big linemen they have that returned from last year. Look like they're playing very well on film. That's a concern. We have to at least play that even along the trenches, and then we should be all right with our. We've got plenty of skilled kids. Like we are faster overall as a team than we was last year. We have plenty of skilled kids. It was, like I said, that question mark was our trenches, but I think by the time we get second half of the season, they'll end up being a strength as well.
Last question. In the game that we saw last year over at Southeastern, special teams was a game changer. A 75-yard punt that literally flipped the field. What about specialty teams this year?
Well, Dylan Morton is sorely missed. Like it's his punting game, not so much on the kickoffs, but the punt. He's been amazing for the last 2 years for us punting the ball. And we did struggle Friday night. We bounced. We skipped a couple of snaps to the punter. Brady Moore made a couple of great saves, scooping it up off the ground and kicking it. One of them, he got hammered as soon as he punted the ball away. So, we definitely this week are working on tightening up that punt protection, the snap. Brady doesn't he doesn't get the distance on it, but he still does a good job. Like, he's still a good high school punter. And he's probably a little better on the kickoffs. Like the kickoffs, he's got a pretty big leg on kickoffs. He can do some good things. He can place it where we want to place it. If we just want to push kick and place it here and there. Brady does a really good job with that. He could have been the kicker last year. Would have been the kicker on most teams, but we had Dylan Morton, so you're not going to take that spot.
Scott, we appreciate you coming in the studio. Looking forward to seeing the Eagles on what promises to be a warm Friday night.
Yeah, we pushed the start time back to 7:30. And last night we had a practice. We started at 7. It was a little warm at 7, but it wasn't terrible. By 7:30 it felt better, and by 8 o'clock it felt great. The kids was running around, flying around, having fun. By 8 o'clock it was good. So I think we'll be fine Friday night as well.
Scott Tomlinson, head coach of the Eastern Eagles, back with more of our preview show on Litter Media.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track.
All right, well, here we go, baby. Wall on your left, 3 to your right, hard left, get on the gas, going for the win. There you go.
That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When insuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Serving our area for more than 4 decades, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. If you click on any ad on our website, you'll find more information. AccurateHVAC.com.
Find a career you love with Pickaway-Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway-Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Litter Quality Propane, online all the time. Customer payment, accurate information, account information, and more. Log on at litterpropane.com. Dan Ramey and Mike Smith. It is the Litter Media Game of the Week preview show. One of the fellows who would like to be at the stadium for Eastern and Huntington is Sam Beeler, who suffered a traffic accident this past week, just before Friday, if I'm not mistaken, of last week. And we have him live on the line with us now. Good morning, Steve. Steve, listen at me. Sam.
Good morning.
You would think I was the one that had the accident. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I guess I have just one word and one name, and that's Jesus. So blessed. So I can't say how excited I am here just to be able to talk to you guys today. It's by His grace.
Well, it's an excited moment for us to be able to hear from you too, buddy.
I know you looked pretty excited when you were holding the game ball in that picture we were showing here a minute ago. How did that come about getting to you?
Clay, the next day, Clay come up and my son and visited me and brought the kids and said the team wanted to give me the game ball. And that was a very emotional moment. And I love the kids so much at Huntington and care about them so much. And that meant just the world to me.
I'm assuming that was your best effort of the Heisman pose in that picture.
Yeah, they had me on some pretty good medication, I think, at that time.
Is this your first game ball?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I wasn't a very good athlete. I worked pretty hard and stuff, but I wasn't a very good athlete. So, yeah, my first game ball, so I'll have to have him buy me a case for it to put in my Buckeye room.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you would rather have gotten that in another way, but we're happy to know that you are going to bounce back and be good. We know you've got a long road ahead of you, but even happier still that Logan came out A-OK as well.
You know, I tell you, Mike, people are in a lot of wrecks and stuff, and the minute I was made contact with the semi, I started to black out, and I started praying to the Lord, thank you, Jesus, thank you, and please forgive me for my sins. And next thing I know, I blacked out, and I thought it was over. I really did. And then I woke up, and I looked over, and I was trying to find him, and I caught out of the corner of my eye, and he was standing outside the truck hugging the state highway patrolman.
Oh.
And all I could say is, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. And nothing else mattered at that point to me.
Mm-hmm. I heard from Twana Hutton, and she was one of the first ones on the scene and first responders in that respect. And she said, I've never had so many hugs before. And that was from Logan right there.
Definitely. He probably tried to marry her, too.
Of course, Sam, you've been a lifelong Huntington Township guy, and I know you know already before this crash occurred, but I think it's probably come back to you many times over the last week, just how special the people in that township are, and some of the well wishes you've received.
You know, Mike, I'm just telling you, there are so many people there, so much love, and not just for me, but for each other. You know, and everyone have their bickering or differences here and there, but man, if something happens to one of us in our community, everyone bands together, and it's about everybody there, you know, and it's a special place to be.
I know last week they had a prayer vigil right after this accident had occurred there at the football field. And in a large circle, and Bud Lytle was leading the way on that. He was able to give everyone an injury update on you. But there were, and I'm sure you've probably seen the video, a lot of great things were said, especially about Chase, who was there, who everyone prayed for about 4.5 years ago, and saw how God had taken care of him. So you're in good company there, buddy.
Well, like I say, I you know, again, the Lord puts you around special people, and I'm so fortunate that He has, and I'm so fortunate all the prayers I've received, and all the phone calls and everything, and it's just I'm just so thankful, and it means so much.
Well, be sure to tune in Friday night, and BJ and I will give you a shout out from the Huntington Hills.
Oh, definitely, and make sure those boys feed you fish up there in the press box. We'll find plenty of it, okay?
By the way, the fish will make it through without you.
Oh yeah, definitely. It'll make it through. I got Jana Phipps. She's a worker buddy, and she's make sure everything's done. So, and you know. Just make sure you get some, all right? It's going to be good.
We will have a fish fillet in your honor.
In your honor.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam, and we'll continue to pray for you, buddy. Thank you again. He's the big fish out of Huntington. Speaking of Sam Beeler.
Thank you.
All right, coming up in just a moment, we'll announce our Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Insurance Player of the Week. Details next.
Our financial lives have never been more complex, and some decisions just can't wait, which is why our K&B Mobility app gives you instant access to the financial tools you need wherever you are. Get a clear picture of all of your accounts, check your daily transactions, receive account alerts, and much more. So no matter where you are or what you are doing, you can make the best decisions for you and your financial goals. Download our Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway-Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway-Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
At Country Clipper, pride runs deep. We take pride in knowing our mowers help create a space for families to make memories. That our features transform mowing into an enjoyable experience. Most importantly, we take pride in knowing the decision to purchase a Country Clipper will be one you can be proud of for years to come. Country Clipper zero-turn mowers.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week. And it's time to announce this week's Player of the Week, and we're going to volleyball today.
Yeah, I think this young lady was one of our Players of the Week last year. She is one of the most outstanding high school volleyball players we have in our area. We're talking about Christian Thompson of Fairfield Union High School. Late last week, she had 44 kills in a match against Zane Trace, which also was her 1,000th career kill. Now, she's done this in 2.5 years. So apparently she didn't get a lot of playing time as a freshman. But in the following game, a 5-set conference thriller against previously undefeated Logan Elm, she had 35 kills and 28 digs. So Christian Thompson, who's already committed to be an Ohio Bobcat when she gets to college, but she's tearing up the court right now for the undefeated Lady Falcons of Fairfield Union. Christian Thompson, our athlete of the week.
We've seen 1,000-pointers in basketball, 1,000 rebounders. We've seen that as well. The only player to do it, from my understanding, is Osh Brown, 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds in a career. But when we look at kills and digs, how difficult is that for a volleyball player?
Well, if I can use an example that's close to home, Adena, who's been one of the premier volleyball programs for the last 30 years, they have never had a player with 1,000 career kills.
Wow.
And they have had 20 or 30 All-Ohioans. So think about that for a while.
Rare air.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations, Christian. And we take our hat off to you. And, of course, don't forget, if you want to make a nomination of a Player of the Week, simply go to our website, littermedia.com. You'll find the email address right there, and you can send us the name of the sport that they're involved with as well. If you have some statistics along the way, please mention those as well. And also, when you go to littermedia.com, under sports, just click on Player of the Week. You'll see all of those who have been recognized up to this point. That includes 30, I believe she is the 35th player this year so far. And at the end of the year, we will have a Player of the Year. So again, if you want to make your nominations, please do so by going to our website, littermedia.com. It's good to hear from Sam.
Yeah.
Happy to hear, because we didn't know what to expect. I mean, he had broken ribs, and he's got lacerations on his legs they have to take care of and all. He went through back surgery already. But his heart's going to be down in the Huntington Township. It always is, certainly. He may be in Columbus in the hospital, but part of his heart is here in Ross County. So Huntington hosting Eastern. We'll start about 7:20 Friday night with our pregame show, and you and BJ Daly will have the action.
Yeah. Ordinarily it's a 6:50, but again, the kickoff is later because of the heat. So if you're going to the ball game, dress appropriately and bring plenty of water to drink.
Yes, or go to the concession stand. Yeah. I'm sure they'll take care of you there, and get your fish dinner as well at Huntington. So for our producer today, Mr. Hantu, Aaron Glandon, and Mike Smith, the icon, I'm Dan Ramey. Thanks for watching this edition of the Litter Media Game of the Week Preview Show. We'll see you soon here on Litter Media.